Folks, welcome to our Build the Adventure program planning training for troops, crews, and posts. And we're here tonight to give you some best practices on how to plan an amazing year of scouting for your scouts. With me tonight, I've got Michael Sos. Michael is currently the Scoutmaster of Troop 804 in Midlothian, Virginia. Michael was one of the founders of that troop 3 years ago. Prior to that, he was Cub Master for 5 years with Pack 876, and he's an Eagle Scout. And I've asked Michael to join me tonight and give you all some tips on what his troop does for program planning. So, Michael, would you tell us about what program planning looks like for Troop 804?
Sure. Yeah. Program planning is probably one of the most important things you do the year because kids want to be in scouting for the outing, right? And so putting together a good plan for the year is probably number one if you want to grow your troop and you want to be successful and you want kids to be happy. So it kind of starts with understanding what your scouts want to do. And trying to get a feel for that starts with your PLC and your SPL. They need to be able to go mine that information from all the scouts. And so, I think the starting of planning starts really this time of year, right? May, June, and it starts with your SPL running a round table at a scout meeting and getting as many voices involved as possible. You want to try to implore on them to get every kid involved because you want everybody to feel like it's the schedule that they created, not the schedule that the SPL created, not the schedule that the PLC created, not the schedule that the scout master created. It's their schedule and it's their plan for the year. So the more you start with more voices involved, even your newer scouts, and talking to them, and then gather as much information as possible. No idea is a bad idea, right? Everybody talks about it, and then get all that stuff, get your scribe involved, get them to go create that list. And then that list becomes kind of the top of the funnel, right? Take that to your PLC next. And then the PLC, you're looking for your SPL to be able to go get everybody talking and then be able to distill that information down into what are our best ideas? What are the ones that we'd love to do? And then take that. And I always tell our SPL and the PLC that I'm not asking them to get to what month we're going to do or even exactly where we're going to go. Just give us lots of ideas and give us some flexibility, but give us, good stuff to work with. So don't just give me 12 ideas for 12 months. Give me 13, 14, 15, 17 ideas that I can work from. And then I also, it's good to get them thinking that, hey, we're not going to do every single one of them. What we're going to do is we're going to try to find the themes, find the best ones, be able to get them on the list because there are some items that happen during the year that I call blockers, right? There's blockers on the list. And so setting that expectation with your PLC and with the scouts ahead of time is a good thing to do as well, right? We're going to go to the camporee. Absolutely. Every year, November, we go to the camporee. There's going to be summer camp that happens in June or July. Those are going to happen, right? Maybe we have for my troop, we like to participate in a October service project. Okay, those things are going to be blockers on there. So we understand that those are going to happen. So now I have 17 ideas. Really, I'm trying to fit 10, 11 blocks, maybe 10 blocks for the year. Okay, so after they collect all that, they have to submit it to me. And then I have to take that to the committee. So that's where we put together a meeting usually it's in July. And I try to make this is not for the scouts. I don't ask any of the scouts as an adult meeting. And I really want the committee, the assistant scoutmasters, as many people, parents who want to get involved. So if I don't know how some troops do it, but our committee, we have our main principals on the committee, right? You have treasurer and you have your committee chair, but we have all kinds of other adult leaders that participate, right? Adults that they may not wear brown shirts, but they're participating, and we want as many people to participate as possible. And so we invite them all to this meeting, as many parents as we possibly can. And at that meeting, one of the tasks that everybody has before that meeting is to bring every schedule they have for everything that's going on in the area. Okay, so what does that mean? That means like uh for our troop, there may be two or three different middle schools that we have scouts in. So we need to know all their schedules. What do they look like? And obviously I'm in Chesterfield County. We have a lot of Chesterfield County, but we actually overlap with Powhatan. We have some Powhatan scouts. So having those two schedules, because they may differ, have those there, right? It's good also to know what other activities are going on, in the area, things that people are going to be involved in, because you don't want to overlap. How about the scouting calendar, right? Heart of Virginia Council has an excellent calendar that we can go grab. We can print off as much as we can. We want to know when the induction is going to be for the OA. We want to know when different activities are happening across the camps, so we can really plan around those. So then everybody brings that stuff together, and we start talking about where we're going to get our weekends. So sometimes we just start with a very simple, like, what are our weekends that we're going to line up? What are our target weekends? And yeah, this sounds a little weird, but you got to look and say, hey, I need, not only do I have to have a weekend, but I have to have a Monday or a Tuesday night whenever your troop meets. You're going to have a meeting before that to be able to do menu planning based on a lot of these. So what you don't want to do is you don't want to go line up all your court of honors or whatnot that are going to step on your menu planning. So there's a lot of different things you want to consider while you're putting this together and you're identifying your weekends. Okay, once you have your weekends lined up, then it's okay. Let's open up the book and what the scouts gave us to work with. And some of that stuff, I know for us, it's really popular. We went to Gettysburg, and Gettysburg was a great trip. Every year, the scouts are going to give us Gettysburg. Okay, so I want to go to I love Gettysburg. But if we went to Gettysburg every single year, it would be boring, right? We'd see the same thing. And then we'd have scouts that might say they want to go, but they don't go because they've seen it before. And
Right.
so taking that overall, like, well, what are they telling us when they put in Gettysburg? Well, they liked what we did there. We liked that they went on a ghost tour when we were at Gettysburg. They liked that we had activities planned that were history based. They liked where we camped, which was this very cool old farm, that had that was haunted. All those things, were elements that made that camp out great. It wasn't necessarily just about Gettysburg. It was the makeup of that camp out that the scouts liked, and they remember all these good things too. So we take that and we say, okay, well, maybe we do Gettysburg because we haven't done it in a couple of years, or maybe we say, what if we go to Yorktown and we do almost a similar trip, but it's a different one. I know this year we went to because Gettysburg was so popular, they wanted to go again. Instead, one of our adult leaders said, hey, there's a really cool fort down in Wilmington, and there's the battleship, and there's a great ghost tour in downtown. All of a sudden, that trip started to look a lot like Gettysburg. So we planned something that looked just like Gettysburg, but it was a new place. And I'll bring up something that we talk about every time in our planning meetings: the word recency bias. Kids don't have a ton of experience. They haven't had, I mean, there have only been a lot of the ones we have they only been on the planet for 15 years, 14 years, 13 years. They haven't seen very much. And a lot of times the only thing they've seen is what the things we've taken them to. So we need to be cognizant of the fact that we don't want our schedule to look the same every single year. We want to bring them new experiences, and that's how we're going to go keep kids involved and keep them coming on our campouts, is varying up the experiences, making it interesting and new, and with still understanding what they want to do, so we're not disappointing them, right? Because they submit they want to go on a shooting trip. Okay, well, a shooting trip is an easy one to say, hey, we can go to Cavalier Gun Club, which is close in town, or we can go to Heart of Virginia Council, and we can go to our and stay at Fleet, and we can get do one of the weekend adventures, which is awesome and is a ton of fun too. So you can vary that way, but you can still do a trip that the kids like to go shooting. We can do it two different ways, a lot of different options in town to be able to go to answer that. And I think if you sometimes a troop will rely too much on your scouts, your PLC, to make all those decisions. If we went to Cavalier Gun Club every single year and we stayed in the exact same site, if you're 16 years old and you're part of my troop, why would you go on that camp out? You've already done it 3 or 4 times. So, but if you're going to, for instance, we did a shooting trip. We called it Guns and Grilling. And so what we did is we actually went and did barbecue competition, and we varied it up a little bit, but we still did the shooting that the kids wanted to do, but we kind of mixed it up, just changed it up a little bit just to make it fresh and new. And we ended up having 40 some scouts come on it, because we were able to, make something interesting.
Yeah, that's great stuff. I love that how it starts with the kids. and the kids are all involved with the process throughout. Your scouts are fully engaged in coming up with the ideas, and then the PLC filters them, and then it goes to the troop committee, and that the special at the special meeting where everyone comes, all the adults, including parents you want to engage. And are y'all having a lot of success engaging those parents through that meeting?
Yeah, that meeting is, and one thing we do, and every troop's different, but we find to be able to go get the parents involved, we want to make that a very comfortable environment. Bring your lawn chair. We do it on the patio. We could do it on our couch at a house. The whole idea is to make it accessible because a lot of times, and me as a scout leader, I like you, Bill, I've been scouting my entire life. So putting on this uniform is normal to me. This feels comfortable. It's not comfortable to a parent who's never been involved in it, and a lot of times this is a barrier to them feeling comfortable being involved. I hear it quite often that a parent will say, "Well, I'm not really qualified to be part of that, right? I haven't been doing scouting like you have been doing," and that is the absolute worst thing. You don't want that. You want because look, every brain you can bring into it. Everybody has great experiences. You want your parents involved. If they're involved or invested, they're gonna bring their kid to every outing. It becomes like a church, right? Your scout troop is like a church. It's like a community center. You want everybody involved, and that's how troops are gonna to do well. So getting their voice involved in the planning part of it is how you're also going to make sure that they plan to be on your outings, number one. But the other thing is that when they're invested in making decisions in your troop, then it's their troop. It's not your troop as a scoutmaster. You're not it's everybody's troop, and that's how you build a community as opposed to just an after school activity. And I think that's what we should all strive for because communities will continue to exist and people will put their effort into it, and you'll get parents that will step up and fundraise and they'll participate on trips and they'll donate, and all those things come from an active ownership of something.
Yeah. I also, Michael, I love how it's in bite-sized pieces. Y'all aren't trying to do everything in one meeting. And in a scout troop, especially a large troop, planning out a calendar for a 12-month period that's going to have excitement for the kids and rationality for the adults and adult volunteers also is a difficult thing to maneuver. So I really do like how you are being very thoughtful about this process. Anything else you'd like to share with the folks tonight?
Yeah, I would think the last part. So, we talked about kind of mining the ideas, getting people involved, where you're going to do it. I think the last part is how you activate on something, right? Because you got to plan how you're going to activate on it. And then, of course, pull through. I just mentioned getting parental involvement. How are you going to pull through that portion of it? And I think that meeting, that planning meeting you do in July, it as a scoutmaster and a committee chair, my committee chair, Emily, we get together and we talk about, okay, well, what do we want to accomplish at this meeting? And yes, we want to be able to have a list of all the activities we're going to do. We have to have weekends. But the last thing is to activate the people in the room to be able to take it on. Because if you're a scoutmaster and you're trying to do it all, you're going to fail, or you're going to burn yourself out, and then your troop is going to fold. And that just, we see it regularly all the time, right? Where you have a couple people trying to do all the work. So this meeting is not, you get everybody there and then you try to find somebody in the room, a parent, an ASM, a committee member, doesn't really matter, somebody who is passionate about that trip and is going to take it on and own it. And then going forward, their responsibility is to go get that all the scheduling done, all of the stuff work. And then the second part of that is get them assigned a scout. Now in our troop, we we utilize scout. Any scout that's over first class should be expected that they're going to be part of the project management of our stuff. So this is a kind of another leadership opportunity. As we all know, in this modern world, probably one of the most important things that or skills that you can have is project management. We have to do it constantly, whether it's getting your kids to soccer or doing work stuff or just getting up in the morning. Everything is project management. Our whole life is project management. So getting scouts engaged in that beyond the PLC, beyond the kind of regular activities, this is a great opportunity to do that. So you can take scouts that may not be like, for instance, I got some scouts that are they're historian, for example. Well, historian is you're taking pictures, but you're not necessarily project managing. So you can take that person, that scout that's first class, get them paired up with one of the parents that's taken on that role, and now their job together as a team is to be able to go bring that through and get it done. That's getting the sign up sheet done, getting things scheduled, make sure that we have transportation. All the aspects of that camp out need to be put together as a project plan. And then, so some of them are going to be 6, 8 months out, but getting started right at that meeting and kicking off. And then the scoutmaster's job is to follow up on that, make sure it's going on, right? Send emails out. Hey, you took this on. How are we doing? Are we still on track? And that way you can also avert challenges when you get closer and things start to fall apart, or maybe they're going great. But the scoutmaster's job is to be able to kind of follow up, make sure it happens, and then it takes all the pressure off of the leadership team and it spreads it out, which is one of the key aspects of running a good troop.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Um, uh, you referenced our council calendar early in your talk, and just real quick before we end this, I'd like to share kind of what our council calendar has to offer for Scout troops. This is just right off our website, and May 2026. It's printable. You can add filters, so you can just get some of the Scout stuff in here. And again, of course, you can zip through and see each month all the stuff we have going on for the next 12 months right here on the calendar. The um, uh, the calendar is a living document, so as things happen, as things are added, they get plopped right on here. And this is where people can actually sign up for events as well. So I love when you talked about how you're blocking certain things into the um, the calendar, and this is a fantastic way to kind of make sure that the big chunks are put into the troops program plan early. Camporee's in there. You find it in the calendar, and training for adults, OA weekends. So your older scouts are engaged in that, and they're not having to decide between troop campouts and going to an OA weekend.
Yeah, bring up a great point with the council calendar. It's an important resource, especially when you consider that I don't know how some people think their scouting year, it has a beginning, middle, and end sometimes, but that doesn't necessarily line up with the planning portion of it. And what I mean by that is July is when we do our planning. Why? Because you got pretty much the summer. You have some time available to be able to do this. You're not in the grind of it's back to school and all the things that are happening in the fall, and then in the spring things are so busy. You get kind of a nice break with summer camp and whatnot, so you can plan. But that doesn't necessarily mean that's the end of the year. Really, it's kind of the middle of the year because your year starts, and at least in our troop, we look at the year starting when our new scouts join in March.
Hmm.
So that year, if you think about it, kind of like if you go up into Wood Badge, or they teach you about building a campfire plan, right? A campfire plan has to start slow, and then it gets big, and it has a peak, and then it drops off kind of a reverend end, right? Just thinking about like the normal plan. Well, your scout year should be like that too, because you have all these new scouts that join, and you have to get them into an activity. You brought up the council calendar. If you really want to start off strong, you don't want to go take all your new scouts and put them on a backpacking trip where you're doing 30 miles in the mountains. Uh,
Yeah.
you also don't want to take them to winter camp at 18 degrees. They're not ready for that. And that's why they join in March. Winter camp's over, right? You're now having good weather again. You have the opportunity to go take them something that is very accessible for them to start their year. So when you're starting your planning, you got to think about like March, April, and May are your soft start to those scouts. Do something that is accessible, and bringing them to Brady Saunders is a great way to do that because you're going to spend a lot of time at Brady Saunders. You're going to summer camp there, you're going to winter camp there, you're going to camporee there. So getting them to in an activity that is not too overwhelming and that is at our council camp in that springtime is a great soft start to the year. And then when you got them ready, now they're starting to get going. You take them to summer camp, they're getting feeling good about things. And then you get in the fall and it gets a little harder as the fall goes on, right? And by the time you get into winter camp, now that's your test for your new scouts. This is where you build all this confidence because now you went and stayed outside in 18 degrees and you're feeling good. And those kids are ready to be troop guides and ready to teach and do things to the next group that are summoning. So every year is like this. It keeps building on it, right? Every year.
Yeah.
And that's what you think about in your council plan on your planning.
That's a fantastic comment and very insightful, Michael. Absolutely. The I think that's the time we have right now for program planning. I want to thank you for being on this and sharing some excellent wisdom about a great way to do program planning in a scout troop. Folks, if you're watching this right now, we are about to. You're going to see some more videos about other things that you need to keep in your pipeline for the next 12 months. There'll be some videos about events, about membership, about product sales. So stay tuned. There's more to come in this video.
Hi, I'm Matt, and I want to make sure that you have a successful year in recruiting new kids into your troop. The best way to do that is to plan an open house. That will happen this fall. Do it in the month of October or November is the best time to do it. And the whole idea of an open house is where all your scouts can invite their friends to do something that's lots of fun. So that means you need to make sure that you've got some fun games planned for the open house, or if there's some sort of fire starter kit that you guys can do with brand new kids, or anything that's just a lot of fun. And food definitely helps. We have got a lot of materials that you can use to help advertise your open house. One of them is a peer-to-peer card that has a picture of scouting on it. In the back, there's information where a scout can write when and where the open house is going to be and who to contact if parents have got questions. Then they can just hand this card off to a friend and say, hey, we're going to have a lot of fun at Scouts next week. Here's an invitation. We also have flyers that you guys can make up and hand out either through your middle school, or you can hand out at your charter organization, or just have Scouts hand out to their friends. All you need to do is contact your district executive to get this stuff email them with the information of the open house, and they'll be able to print flyers for you and get all the peer-to-peer card as well. We also have Join Scouts VA pencils that you guys can use to hand out at different, if you have a different event where you're going to have a booth, you can hand these out to anybody that comes by that wants more information on scouting. We also have yard signs for you guys to put up that will say Join Scouting on them. It'll be the blue and white yard signs that we've had in the past. So again, just the most important thing is to make sure that you schedule and plan a really fun activity that your scouts can invite their friends to. This is a tried and true way to grow your troop. Another thing that you want to make sure that you do is make sure that your pin on beascout.org is in the right place. So when I say pin, I mean pin on a map. So let me show you what I'm talking about. When you go to beascout.org, they'll type in their zip code, and then a map will come up that looks like this. And then they can select different pins on the map, and it'll show where different troops are that are close to where they live. So you need to make sure that your pin is in the right spot by going to beascout.org and putting in the zip code of your unit. If you do not know how to update your pin, it's simple. Just go to my.scouting.org, click unit pin, and then you'll be able to update it there. It'll need to be a member of your Key 3 that does it. If you need more instructions, you can go to hovc.org and just go to Google and say update unit pin beascout.org, and you'll be able to find it. Our website has got a link to a tutorial on it, and I can show you where that is right now. So if you just go to hovc.org/2024, just this website up here, or like I said, you could just Google it, and you'll be able to watch this video on how to update your unit pin. I know that with these steps, you guys are going to have a successful year in in recruiting new kids. Thank you and have a good day.
Hey there, my name is Zach Quimby, and I'm an Eagle Scout from Troop 562 in New Kent, Virginia, and I've been a volunteer right here in the heart of Virginia Council for the past 10 years. As your unit is starting to think about the year ahead, events, campouts, activities that you might want to do, I want to flag two really important opportunities. That's Buckskin and NYLT. They're advanced youth leadership courses offered right here in our council. They'll equip your scouts with the passion, the skills, and the insights necessary to be an effective leader for your unit. Across our council, a lot of the most successful units select their scouts for these opportunities and plan for them in advance, and I encourage you to do the same. Use the links in the description below to learn more about both opportunities, and don't hesitate to reach out to the teams on either course if you have any questions. We look forward to having your scouts with us to make a lasting impact in their lives, in your unit, and in our community. Thanks so much, and we'll see you soon.
Hi, I'm Jason Melton, and I want to talk to you a little bit about some of the adult leader trainings that we offer. But before we do, I want to show you my favorite award that you can earn, which is the Train Strip. It shows your scouts, your other leaders, and the parents in your unit that you have a commitment to one of my favorite phrases, which is that every scout deserves a trained leader. So we know that many of the courses that you would take for training are offered online in an easy to digest and at your schedule format, but there are some great in-person courses we offer as well, such as Cope and Climbing Instructor, Wilderness First Aid, Swim and Water Rescue, or our Premier Adult Training Wood Badge. But what I really want you to look for, if you haven't already taken them, are our outdoor experience trainings, BALOO and IOLS. So BALOO is targeted towards our Cub Scout leaders, IOLS towards our troop leaders, and they help equip you with the skills you need to train your unit and your youth to have great outdoor camping experiences. We hope to see you at the next scheduled one, and you can find the dates on hovc.org/training. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Heather Dunton, and I'm coming to you from an almost empty warehouse to talk to you about the fall popcorn and peanut sale. But don't worry, soon enough, this warehouse will be chocked full of all your favorite popcorn and peanut snacks, including a brand new product that we have this year. It's sea salt and dark cacao sunflower seeds. Now, I would love to share some with you. They were delicious, but let's be honest, our staff ate all the samples. But don't worry, you can try them all at our early bird kickoff, which is going to be held July 22nd here at the council office at 7 p.m. There will also be kickoffs in every district, so no matter where you are, you'll be able to attend a kickoff so that you can find out more information about this fall sale. Now is the time for you to go online to our website and sign up to participate. We are ordering brochures and samples and everything we need to get the fall sale underway. The product will come in on August 14th and 15th, so make sure that you schedule your show and sell booths after that date. And don't worry, if you've never sold before, now is the best time to sign up for the sale, because on October 10th and 17th, we're going to have Food Lion consignment sales those weekends. We have already booked every Food Lion store in your neighborhood for those 2 weekends so that you can go out and sell product at no risk. This means that you can sign out the product and return anything you don't sell and make some great money so you guys can do some awesome fun adventures this fall. Now again, the best way to sign up is go to our website, and if you have any questions, please reach out to me by email or give me a call. I'm happy to meet with you and your unit to find out the best way for you guys to raise money so that you can do awesome things this year. Thank you.
Jason Melton. I'm event chair for Heart of Virginia Council's University of Scouting. So University of Scouting is a great training event usually held the last weekend in September every year. Not only do we have in-person trainings such as Den Leader training or Indoor Scoutmaster training, there's also great secondary trainings like Safe Swim Defense, Safety Afloat, or some other secondary trainings to help you be a better leader for your youth. For more information, visit hovc.org/training or check out the council calendar.